Alright guys, so I'm here at night. I just got out of seeing the secret movie called Young Washington. And this is about how the birth of our nation, the US, came about. And Pennsylvania does have a key. It's not only called the Keystone State for a reason. It is one of the main reasons why the U.S. started that in Virginia. Now, I don't know if I could go too deep into it because it's not coming out until the 4th. But this is my review. The acting is decent. It is from Angel Studios. But it also is very inspirational. Now, I don't know how many liberties they had taken in watching this movie, or in making this movie. There's probably liberties that they took in the story. I can't really get into it too much because it's not coming out till the 4th. But it was very powerful. A very positive message. I kind of feel like Angel Studios, though. I've noticed in their movies, like, they seem kind of edited. I'm not sure. But, in general, Young Washington is what it's called. Young Washington, is a pretty good movie. At the end, they have a thing with Kelsey Grammer, and he talks about, like, he has a special message. But beyond that, I feel that it also has a lot to do with how the forefathers had God on their minds when they created the U.S. They were breaking away from the British to the New World, and a lot of the elements that you think you would see in the movie are there, and it could have very well been shot in this state. I'm not sure though, but a lot of areas I've seen could look a lot like Pittsburgh when you have, before the all the stuff was there. I don't know, it looks a lot like Pittsburgh when it was before the city. But this movie is going to start tomorrow about what the July 4th special is going to be. And that is the start where it all began. Fort Pitt, Fort Duquesne's 5 Points. And that is how we're going to do July 4th. The history of the United States and the history of how we got here. A lot of the videos that I've been doing have been about birthdays and birthplaces, and now I feel like this is the culminating point where we could have about the birth of our nation. So this starts it up, and check out Young Washington on July 4th. For now, I'll see you in the next. This is the NC Explorers signing out. Look at these kind of houses here. These are nice. So I was born, like I said, I was born in Shady Grove Hospital. Dad is in the room sleeping. Frederick Road. Actually, I've done a video in Frederick, Maryland. It was on a series when I went to Cumberland, Maryland. I got confused because I thought I was born in Cumberland, Maryland, but it turns out I was born in Shady Grove, which is by Rock Hill, which is by Rock Hill, which is in Montgomery County, the Shady side. So I don't know where I'm, but they said I was from Shady Grove Hospital. So we're going to go with that, which is right next to Rock Hill. It's in Gaithersburg. Somewhere in Maryland, in the DC metro area. So somewhere in all of that, I was born. And over here, they have the metro station. You have to walk to that tomorrow. I want to walk around a little bit here. Alright guys, so we are going to do an epic tale of how this nation's almost started with George Washington. And we are going to head up to the Three Rivers Point. So we're going to head up now, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, so we're in Beaver Falls now, and we're going to head up to the to Pittsburgh and kind of walk around North Shore. How the day ends, I have no idea, but that's what we're going to do today. And we'll see how, and we're going to try to go to Point State Park, if it's open, or the museum in there. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, we have arrived here in Pittsburgh, and our adventure starts now. Right in the parking lot, or parking garage of the casino. I've done this a couple times, all around North Shore, but being that what had took place here or around here 250 years ago, it was important, I think, to do this. So this is kind of honoring and celebrating our national birthday. So alright, yeah, so I was kind of looking it up. It really was like, so the Declaration of Independence was in Philadelphia, but in Pittsburgh it started the expansion of the United States. They called it the Gateway to the West because of the Ohio River where it landed, and Lewis and Clark took their adventure. They started here. It's the end of where the Northeast is, and you begin to enter the rest of the U.S. But it is kind of cool because it's like to think about where we started and now. 250 years later. I think that's pretty cool. Alright guys, so I don't know if we'll catch, I'm curious to see if they have like the fireworks set up on the Point Park. That's our destination, but we are going to stop at a lot of the memorials and things like that. Like I said, I know I've done this before, but this is special because it's not like you get to see a bicentennial or a what we are now. I have no idea what they call it. I know it's 250, but I don't know what, like, if they just call it 250 or bicentennial. I don't know. Either way, this is the Landing Hotel next to the casino. Now, back in the day, in the 90s, all you had was that over here, the Carnegie Science Center, now Keeman Science Center, but that was in 92. In the 80s, you had the Three River Stadium, but all of this was like just land that was used. That's where all the industrial area was. And they took it down and they made a nice North Shore. That's how we got this. So it's not that like, I think the casino and all of that came out in 2000. So, really not that long that it's been around here. So, it looks like they actually have the go-kart set up. Now, when I was here a couple months ago in February, they had this down for a little bit, and I found out that they actually built a casino, or they built a go-kart track in that building. So now you can go on the go-kart track. Cayman Science Center. So over here is the Acrisure Stadium. It is hot. And of course it's huge. Do you think the Steelers are going to finally do it this year? Probably not. They used to have a good team. We just lost it all. But see, they kept the Heinz sign up there. I guess to remind like of what it was called. But then they have the Acrisure Stadium. But it's like, why didn't you just keep it behind? I guess because of money, I guess. But it doesn't make any sense. It's the Heinz Field, it used to be. And now it's the Acrisure Stadium. But they kept the Heinz there. I don't get it. Oh well. Now, I was not here when they had the draft. I heard a lot of people were here. I just, I didn't go to it because it would have been hell to find a parking space. But I'm glad that people went to it. I remember when that giant cinema used to be a 360 degree movie theater. Now they have it still a decent sized movie theater, but like it's not the expansive theater that it was. Press the gate. Okay, coming up you'll see like on this side the river, which they have a they have one of the battleships replica of it. Guess they're doing construction here. So you have the Pitt Panthers that play here. And you have, yeah, Panthers and Steelers. Guess they're doing some work on that. But you can see the seats up that way. University of Pittsburgh Panthers. The quarterback, I think, was from the Panthers. They brought him over to the Steelers, but then they jumped around with the other quarterback. Or he's from Penn State, I'm not sure. Penn State or Pitt. Oh, it's hot. It's just fine. Oh, wow. They started having things set up here already. We'll get a sneak peek. That's the Acrisure Stadium. I gotta see this now. I guess you can't get out there. Right now, at least. I don't know what they're doing. I thought you could, but I guess not. Hopefully we can still walk around there. At least you can see what they have coming up. Oh, so for like they have the Third Eye Blind and Nelly coming for the 4th of July. Now here's what makes me feel really old. Third Eye Blind started when I was around like 12, 96, 97. I was like 11 and 12. I like how they have this mini field here. But yeah, they were around my time, and now they're considered like classics. I guess that's how people in the 80s felt whenever, or 90s felt whenever their 80s songs were classics. Time moves fast. Well, I started setting up a little bit. There's the Ferris wheel. I don't want to bother anyone that's like working now. You can see. I wonder if any of this is free. Probably not. So, okay, I think the Three Rivers Stadium was here. Was in this exact spot. But all of this was parking lot. We didn't have any of this. But yeah, this is like where the Three Rivers Stadium was. And then they rebuilt. They built the Steelers Stadium. And they built the PNC Park. And that all around there. So I mean, yeah, I guess it was in the North Shore. Oh, it had the incline in the background. That'd be fun to ride up. Alright, so before I get to this stuff, I want to show how it looked when George Washington, well, it was the Delaware River, but when they were first coming up and they started in the gateway of the West, all of this wasn't here. It was all trees and land. There was nothing of the sort of any city being built. That's where our destination is. Oh, a bunch of jerks. We'll leave the jerks alone. But yeah, over here, all of this was all trees. That whole area, they had that little area of trees, and that turned into the Point State Park eventually, but it was all land, all water. And that's where the Three Rivers went. So we'll get to that in a minute. Oh, fuck. So, this over here is for the last call. Back in the 1800s. This is a memorial for the police officers that have lost their lives in duty. And I support them. But over here we have the infamous Mr. Rogers statue. Now, if you remember, back in March, or no, it was April. Back in April, we went into his hometown, and we got to see what his hometown was like. I don't hear any music though. They must have shut off the music. They don't have the music anymore. Alright. So down to that way. I was driving down today and they had a lot of flags up for the upcoming holiday. It's good to not forget all those that have sacrificed their lives for our freedom. best not to forget them. Okay, this is a peace treaty between the settlers and the indigenous. Manchester Bridge sculpture. Now they actually have this up top too. But I have a lot of love for the peace and for the and for the people that were here before us. They are amazing. And over here is the stage AE. You can't really see the you really can't see the stage. But I assume this is where Third Eye Blind is going to play. I could be wrong, but I assume that's where they're going to be playing at. Now over this way, we have another memorial. And that's of all the wars. And all the people that have done for them. Now we enter a memorial for all of the wars and everyone that was part of it, who sacrificed themselves for our freedom. Renaissance Pittsburgh. So we had a lot to do with building artillery, and the nuclear bomb was going to go off, but luckily it didn't. That I think is from D-Day. And there was a movie called Pressure, where they had the general. It was Brendan Fraser. I didn't see it, but I read about it and heard about it, and how they were looking at weather, and they thought a lot about the soldiers that were going in. They wanted to protect them. This is the nurses who served. That would be hard because the people that they were gunning for the nurses first. You would think they would do the front line, but they were aiming towards the nurses so they couldn't get help. And this is Pearl Harbor. Over here, we have Coast Guard, Army, Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, Merchant Marine, Navy. They have Space Force now, but they don't have it on here. It's new. Pittsburgh, Crossroads. An arsenal of democracy. Rescuing Jews. So this is all the military history. I know I kind of like fast forward through it, but around this area. And there's more memorials too. There's two more that way. So I wanted to go down here. Hello. Hot outside. Huh? Yeah. So I walked down this way. Over that way they have like history. Over there. And this one I almost forgot a couple times. But I was trying to get to all the memorials before we get over across the bridge. And this is Vietnam. Wanted to walk out onto the deck. Look out into the water. So I guess they're having like a whole river run or something, or a bunch of people just going out and kayaking. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of people kayaking. You know, I've never really gone down that way before. That's the point. I want to walk that way. I never really go this way before. person. So that's where you go up to walk by. Oh, there's a waterfall. That's what's over there. Oh, there's a bunch of people over there. I don't want to bother them. Okay, so that's what's over on the other side, but I didn't want to there's a whole bunch of people sitting on the steps. And I just didn't want to feel like I feel like I want to go swimming now. Alright. So we're back out in the sea again. Oh. It's hot. They have a heat wave. That's from what I can tell. But now, we're kind of in Act 2. Well, they're starting to head towards the Point State Park. Before we go out and finish it up, we're going to go in the museum first. Hopefully it being open. That's what I hope. And hopefully you can film in there. It's kind of like what I wanted to get for my video. If not, we'll still do that. But I want to try to get it for you guys. I wanted to show what it looks like kind of in the middle of here. That way going down into New River this way, and then that way. And in a couple of days, oh, I didn't realize that. So in a couple of days, we're gonna celebrate 250 years. Now to the rest of the world, that's nothing. They've been around for years. But our nation, it's only 250. Think about how much progress, or how much is gone in the last 250 years. It really started booming in the 1800s. Yeah, it really started booming in the 1800s. More than the 1700s. But So I'm gonna walk across, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get in the Fort Pitt Museum. So we're out and across. Actually, a little bit here, we're gonna walk out that way. So this is Point State Park. They're vitalizing it. Oh cool, they have water in here again. So, before we go out of here, we're gonna go across there and see the rest of the one. Wait, why can't you walk there? I've noticed like anymore, everything is like blocked off. Kind of annoying. Like in DC, they have all that blocked off in front of the White House, and then I understand why, but like, jeez. So, this is Point State Park, but this is the Fort Pitt, and that's the Fort Pitt Museum. I don't know if they have it off because they're setting fireworks up, or just construction. Well, they have this locked up, but this is the Fort Pitt. I mean, it could be just because of the 250 coming up. But the pit was a lot, or the fort was a lot bigger than that. It was this whole way around. Artillery train, field guns, mortars. This is what you're going to see in Gettysburg. Now the Revolutionary War, I mean, it's everywhere. You know, this is just one part of it. So it's not like Pennsylvania was, like, you know, there's many things behind the start of the U.S. No, it's not too bad. Alright, so we're going to start here. A test of wills. So you can see, like I said, this is what it looked like back when we were just starting out. You can see the trials in the military and all the ships. And in the bottom there's that fort right there. There's ships over there. So this is Fort Duquesne. Largest French military installation in the Ohio River. Wow. You have to think though, no city was here, so it was probably a lot bigger. In that space, that's where we're at. All the houses and that. Washington in the Ohio County. You guys should definitely check out Young Washington. 21 years old. No military, no diplomatic experience. He started out with knowing nothing. And he failed the first time with French. But with his failure, he got success by learning from his mistakes. And Braddock staff. Now they have Braddock, Pennsylvania. He joined as a volunteer, and that was in the movie too. After he made his mistake, he came back. So these are some of the weapons, or the remnants of all the things that were shot from here that they found. And the Marine tried to take it.